heart attack. Fast, fatal, heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Now, before I do start this, I want you guys to know I was really proud of how this one turned out, and I am re-recording it because of some audio issues. I am very annoyed by that. Now, let's hope this one holds up to the same quality and the same amount of story tones I had in that one do also still appear there. Now, before we do begin, let's give a brief little review. In the last part, quite a lot of things were happening. We had things with Izuku. He was demonized and celebrated by mutants. Humans did not like what he did. The Earth's heroes did not like what he did. The mutants, they viewed Deku as somebody who achieved Charles Xavier's dream. However, he spent 2 years in Wakanda as a bit more of a punishment where people can keep an eye on him. Now, Deku tried to help make contingency plans against the Incredible Hulk. And right now, Wakanda, they were invaded by a little bit of a team. The team had M'Baku, Killmonger, and Zen Z. Now, they were all working together, and Zen Z, she brainwashed a mutant nicknamed Gentle. Now, Gentle, he is a very powerful mutant in his own right, and with the fact that the drawbacks of his powers were removed, he actually was very, very strong at the moment. Now, Deku quickly took down this person. He then took down the person brainwashing people. And, well, yeah. After that, things got a bit easier whenever the Avengers and T'Challa arrived. Now, Hulk, he told the heroes quite simply, leave him alone and fuck off. He's leaving. Now, T'Challa, he wanted to stop Izuku, and, well, the Hulk. However, right now, the Hulk, he's heading to the one place they should not follow him. He knows that Izuku, he activates in response to him being in danger or on death's door, along with the fact that he also does manifest if Izuku does have his heart rate skyrocket enough. And right now, he headed to the one place Izuku, he would never be safe. He would be in constant danger. He would always manifest in a response, and Izuku would constantly rely on him for survival. Now, the first time Deku woke up in the Savage Lands, he was pissed. He didn't realize where he was. He woke up in a jungle. That's happened to him before, okay. But which jungle is it? Which state, possibly? Which country, possibly? Which place in the world? However, he found that this was the Savage Land. And he found that out whenever he had to run away from a dinosaur. Now, Deku, it's been months to possibly a year. Deku doesn't exactly know the time. The days blend together sometimes, especially with no technology and most of the time him not even being fully here or aware. Now, Deku, he currently is sitting out by the beach. The Hulk, he's made a bit of a reputation in this area. There are times where animals get away, and they learn not to come around this area. Many have learned that lesson. Some leave wounded, some don't leave at all. And right now Deku, he's sitting on the beach. He has tried multiple times to leave the Savage Lands. However, the farthest he's ever gotten was to the edge of the Arctic. I mean, what is he supposed to do? He can't swim that far. He'd get exhausted, he would possibly drown, and as far as he does know, the Hulk is too heavy to swim. The Hulk would be dying at the bottom of the ocean constantly over and over again. And that doesn't sound so good. Now, Deku, he does sit there, looking out and towards a cloud. He doesn't know how far away it is. It's so close, though. That'd be what Deku does think. He's just staring. It looks almost like it's sitting on the water. I'm going to stand and walk away, heading back to the cave. Now, Deku, he would arrive and he does start the preparations. Him making a fire and going about a bit more of his day. Deku going to put some meat on the fire as he did go to try and wash off all the salt, trying to keep it from, well, rotting. Now, Deku, he does start to let it cook, as right now he does sit there and try to warm up. The days are going to get cold. It will possibly rain tomorrow, maybe the day after that. He's not too sure. Weather here is weird. Now, Deku just sit there, and it feels strange. Hulk. Yes? Was anybody ever here? Besides us? Yes. Did somebody ever come here to challenge you? I'm having a glimpse. You were fighting something. No. What do you mean, no? No one was here. Hulk fight monsters a lot. Really? So, if I remember correctly, I woke up the next morning, me, and it feels so fuzzy. I'm just trying to remember it, but it feels foggy. Are you saying we were alone that day? Yes. Hulk by himself. Hulk smash. I get it. But I'm just asking. So, we were by ourselves then? Yes. There's no one here? No one ever came here? No. Hulk was alone. Now, before Deku did try to say something about that, there actually is where he does hear a snap. Him going to grab his spear and going to turn. As he does see Emma Frost walk in her diamond form. And Deku, he does just stand there before lowering the spear. Emma? Oh, thank God I finally found you. I knew you were here, but locating you exactly wasn't easy. So, wow. Yeah, don't blame me. The big guy kind of outgrew a lot of clothes. And animals, they're not fun. No, I mean, leather. It, doesn't look good. You try sewing dinosaur skin. Now, she's going to stare back at him, before trying to tell him that she's been trying to find him for a multitude of reasons. And right now, she does need his help. Everybody needs his help. Okay, I'm glad that you're here, but what happened? What's going on? It's a lot. I'll explain on the Blackbird. Just come on. Now, the two would leave. And right now the Hulk, he is very annoyed. He wants to try and go for control, however, he can't. And right now Deku, he actually does get on the Blackbird and go through the process of listening. Now, Emma, she actually does have Deku sit down next to her before she simply just goes to stare at him for a second before opening her mouth. Okay, how exactly does the Hulk in you work? I have to stay calm, not let my heartbeat skyrocket, or get above a certain level. If I stay calm enough, he doesn't manifest. And if I don't have my heartbeat skyrocket fast enough, he can't manifest. Okay, well, I assume so. Here, her holding up a tranquilizer, telling Deku that this should slow him down enough, and to take it. Hmm? Okay. Deku grabbing it, asking exactly why. Listen, it's a lot to explain, but first of all, Charles died. Deku looking directly at her, his eyes glowing green as he immediately does a directly jab it down into his leg. Fuck, that hurts. Okay, Deku pulling it out, before simply just going to toss it to the ground and looking directly at her. Explain. Right. Now, she does begin to explain. A few months back, people started to get sick, and a lot of things were happening. At first, they believed that people were still feeling the side effects of what Doom did. I mean, it could have been delayed, it could have been some sort of reaction. He fractured reality in some sort of way before remaking it again. So they thought it could have been something with time and distortion or whatever you want to call it. But then the Inhumans started popping up more. And their clouds, as they call them, Terrigenesis clouds, or the Terrigen Mist, they started to affect many places. They hit many places, and mutants started getting sick. Eventually, they started dying, and that is why she needs his help. Charles, he died, and right now they are all trying to figure this all out. The mutants were lost, and, well, he may not have been in charge at the time, but it was still significant. Now, Deku, him and Emma do go to land. And right now, Deku, he is greeted by a lot of people. As Deku, he is allowed to shower with actual soap for a minute, shave, and get himself somewhat presentable. As Emma and Cyclops, they do get things ready. Along with Storm, they're trying to get things sorted out before they start talking to everybody and announce to the world exactly what happened with the Terrigen Mist. Now, we actually have our Deku, he does get a walk downstairs. Him seeing a few familiar faces, as he does get to sit down. And right now, Deku, he does listen to what's going on. They need to talk to the Inhumans. They've already discussed plans on what to do. A Terrigen Mist cloud is heading for Japan, and what they're going to be doing is quite simple. Deku is not going to trail off, as he does go to look directly over to somebody. As Deku to see Katsuki, she looks different in a way. And right now she's looking down at her phone, her smiling at it. And right now, she actually just won't look up and direct at Izuku, before Deku is going to somewhat snap his eyes back to attention and in front of him. Her going to immediately press the button on her phone and look back up. And Deku, after the meeting is over, he does hear about what's happening. What they're going to be doing is Storm, along with another mutant or another Inhuman, they're going to be trying to get the cloud to avoid Japan. And right now, Forge and even a few of the people, along with Cyclops and Magneto, they are all trying to get things ready. They are all trying to make sure they can get this cloud to essentially change. Now, Deku, he does hear a lot about it. And right now, after speaking with everybody, and even trying to understand his role to play in this, he does speak to Katsuki, as whenever he does go to walk through the door, he does immediately go to see her. Her asking if they can chat. Yeah, sure. The two are going to walk outside. Listen, it's been a while. I mean, I'm happy to see you, but you're sort of making this a routine. Yeah, sorry. The first time I got it, but now I don't. Yeah, this time wasn't my fault. Hulk sorta took me for a joyride, I guess. Yeah, I heard about that. I tried to call Tony Stark, and he told me a few things. So, um, have you spoken to everyone since you got back? I've spoken to a few people. I mean, I think Laura's avoiding me, and I haven't seen Jean yet. Oh, right. And Rogue? Um, I saw her earlier, but I think she's busy. What did you want to talk about? I wanted to talk about us. Well, how things stand with us, exactly. I mean, the last time we talked, it was complicated. Right. I just got sentenced to 2 years in Wakanda, before spending a year in the Savage Lands and eating dinosaurs with the Hulk. Are you serious? Yeah, tastes like chicken, actually. Tender, though, is a lot more like beef, I guess. It sounds weird. Well, dinosaur leather, yeah, as it turns out, not very fun to wear. But then again, I don't really know how to make clothes, I guess. At least not some as protective as dinosaur leather. Especially whenever you heat it up and you get it to be a certain way. Izuku. Right. Sorry. Listen, we can chat more whenever all this is done, okay? Right. I just was curious. I get it, but wow, I'm gonna repeat these words. I've been gone for some time and we can't just pick up where we left off. Right, right. But, do you still. Deku's stepping forwards and grabbing her, pulling her into a hug before just telling her. He does still care. He does want her to know that. He does love her, too. Now, Deku, he does get let go of her. We can discuss it more, and chat more about it, but it just. Things are complicated. Charles is dead. I mean, I just learned about that. You're not mad? I am on a lot of tranquilizers right now, and they're probably gonna burn through my system in a few minutes. So, I'm gonna need to go. Right. Now, they're just gonna walk away. And right now, it does seem strange to Katsuki. They all need to chat. I mean, discuss it. Now, with that being said, we do actually for everybody, they do get it into place. Deku, he knows his role. And right now they are trying to prevent a Terrigen cloud from hitting Japan. And Storm, she is there. She, along with another Inhuman, they are in place. And right now, whenever they do start the process of diverging the cloud, there actually is where a few people, they get angry at the X-Men. And Deku, he is standing there. These are some of the same people who hate mutants. The Terrigen Mist, from what he does understand, Terrigenesis, the entire process, it could be potentially lethal. And these people want to bet their lives on gaining superpowers. I mean, they weren't born with a mutant gene, and they think that they might have an inhuman gene, that chance could be potentially a good chance. But it's not 100%, it's not even 50-50. You're relying on your genetics for a superpower. And people, they don't even fully understand how to test for an inhuman gene. These people, they are not thinking clearly. Now, Deku he is annoyed, and people they just start to riot whenever the Terrigen Cloud doesn't strike land. And right now, a lot does start to happen. One of the Inhumans, they try to quell the rioting, stop it, bringing their hands up, and immediately trying to put the rioters to sleep. And there actually is all around Deku. The mutants around Deku, they all immediately drop to the ground, like a sack of potatoes. And right now, Deku, he's the only one left standing. Before, he doesn't want to drop down onto his knees and feel immense pain in his head. And right now, Deku, he does attempt to try and stand back up. However, they do go to start bolting directly at Deku. As Deku, he does go look up towards this person. And they do go to directly try and fly into his body to possess him. However, right now, you do actually have a problem. Emma Frost and Magneto, they were watching this. And right now, they take it as an act of war against the mutants. Somebody is about to try and possess the Hulk, one of their heavy hitters, and they just incapacitated the X-Men. That is not a good idea, not a good sign. Now, Magneto and a few other people do start to step in, since they do believe that this is an act of war. And right now we do actually have over in England, where Magic, she is gaining somebody that they need, an ally they need to stop the Terrigen Mist from hitting Japan. Now, we do actually have over in Deku's mind, the person they leaped directly into Deku, and right now they're attempting to try and take control of the Hulk. However, there's a problem. As the Hulk starts to manifest into reality, there actually is the person, they're surrounded by the dark, and they do start to hear a sound. Them going to turn and seeing somebody just standing there. Their arms are held apart, and so are their legs. And those chains, they're under, no, they're running up, but they're running down. What are they doing? Their body, it looks like an X. Now, the person starts to approach Deku, as he appears to be chained to a wall. But as they start to approach, they realize something. Deku isn't wearing shackles on his wrist. He has those chains wrapped around his wrist multiple times, and blood is coming down his wrist, down his arms. And right now Deku, he's holding them as hard as he can. And Deku, he also directly look up towards this person, as they do somewhat freeze. Get out of my head. What the hell? Listen. Run. Get out of here. If he gets control in reality, you're going to die. Now, the person they think that Deku is lying. This has got to be some form of mental resistance, psychological warfare, right? And they do go to try and rush Deku. And Deku, he immediately lets go of the chains surrounding his hands. As when they do start to fly directly upwards into the air, there actually is in the real world. Where Hulk, he does go to immediately look up and stand before his eyes do start to glow red and he immediately loses his shit. Now, everybody they are confused. And right now the Inhumans, they thought that their guy took control. However, there's a problem. Hulk rushes directly towards the Inhumans and immediately goes to attack at them. Now, many of the Inhumans, they were not ready for this, as right now, the Hulk, he goes on the offensive. without even trying to restrain any of his blows. Now, they are currently dealing with a mindless Hulk, and right now, the Hulk, he starts to tear their team apart. Many people actually having to run from the fight. As an Inhuman who does have elemental control, they try to attack and face the Hulk, trying to hold him back and buy time for their guy, who is in his head. If they buy enough time, their guy should be able to take control. Cut to inside Deku's head. Deku, he currently does step forwards. The chains still around his legs as Deku does go to grab towards this person and pick them up into the air. And the person, they're confused. Of them trying to grab down at Deku's arm and beat at it. However, Deku, his grip, it's insane. His power. He shouldn't have power like this here. This is his mind, not the real world. Now, Deku is going to start telling them, get out of his head. He needs to keep the monster restrained. Now, the person they don't understand. And Deku, he also took a look behind him, and the person they start to hear another voice. No, you can't have them. Get out of here. The devil will have you. Now, the person they are confused, as they do start to hear the whispers. And Deku, he does tell them, run, now. Before Deku, he actually has to somewhat fall towards the ground, and the chains attached to his ankles, you start to pull him backwards. Deku grabbing at the ground and looking back up at them, telling them to get the hell away from the devil. Now, the person, they immediately try and get out of Deku's head. As remember the Hulk, he does have the person jump from his body. The person sent flying. And right now after smashing into the ground, they do go to try and stand back up, looking back at the Hulk. And right now that person just watched their friend fly out of the Hulk's body. If they're not in control, what is going on here? The person freezing the ground under the Hulk, as Hulk, he does immediately start to slip. The person sliding underneath the Hulk, and immediately going to turn. Them going to manipulate the ground to give them a hold, as they do go to bring up their other hand and start to attack the Hulk with lightning. Now, the Hulk is zapped, and right now the person, they do start manipulating the ground underneath them. Them going to turn the ground directly into sand. And the Hulk, he does start to get stuck inside of it. And the person, they do try to explain what's going on. As right now, we do actually have inside Deku's mind. Now, Magneto has showed up. And Deku, he currently is trying to be calmed down by a few people. The people here, they are trying to calm him down. And that is a mixture of Emma Frost, Jean Grey, and the Stepford Cuckoos, who are all trying to get inside of Deku's head. And Deku, he actually is trying to grab the chains. These chains, he let them go for a second. He knows he shouldn't have. He has to keep them tight. He has to make sure the Hulk doesn't lose control like that. He can't hold it though. Charles, he's gone. Now, Deku just start to hear a crack. And right now, he does go look up towards one of the chains to see a point of it has broken. And Deku, he does directly grab above it and hold on. Now, the moment Deku does go to do that, we do actually have where he does go start wrapping it around his wrist and his forearm, holding onto it as he actually someone get pulled upwards into the air before pulling it back down. Now, the moment that actually has happened, the Hulk does go somewhat temporarily stop moving for a second before going back to his rampage. And right now, Deku just to hear a few voices in his head. Now, Deku, he does hear Jean Grey, and the moment he hears her voice, he does feel a sense of calm, before grabbing upwards to the other chain and pulling it in as hard as he can. His wrist starting to get covered in blood as Deku's hands start to bleed. Now, Deku, he does quickly wrap it around his arm and pull. As right now, there actually is back in the real world. where the Hulk, who has been rampaging and trying to stop everything, he does finally stop his rampage. As the person, you're going to blast away the Hulk, and Hulk is going to hit the ground. Before he does is lay there for a second, and his eyes do stop glowing red. Him jumping upwards and looking around. Him confused. Hulk, feel bad. Okay, what the fuck was that? The person who invaded Deku's mind trying to explain. He is not doing that shit again. It is not good in there. What'd you do to Hulk? I did not do anything. I am not going back in there. It is a madhouse. Now, the person's confused, as right now, a lot of other people do start to show up. Now, Cyclops' team do show up, and right now their plan is to subdue and change the Terrigen Mist. Now, as they do start the process of doing that, you do actually have Medusa and many other Inhumans who do arrive. And right now, there actually is Magneto. Magneto, he does stand there. And Sunspot, he does start to help this mutant get upwards into the air and fly them towards the Terrigen Cloud. Now, the moment Sunspot does fly upwards into the air towards the cloud, Medusa does look directly at that person, bring her hand up and trying to order somebody to take them down. And the moment that somebody does go to try and attack them, Deku or Hulk does go to directly get in the way, bring his hands up and thunderclapping. As their attack, it does get sent off course. And right now, Hulk is going to directly jump onto his feet and leap over to Magneto. Him smashing down and going to stand back up. As he does come face to face with Black Bolt of the Inhumans. The man staying there next to the Queen. He is the king of the Inhumans. The Hulk, he does know that much. Now, right now Medusa does stand there. These are the two who worked with Doom. Why are they here? Now, we do actually over the cloud does start to come to land. It hitting land and changing color. As right now Medusa does stare up towards the cloud. It's ruined. Now, we actually do have where Cyclops, he does start to walk up. And right now he does approach Black Bolt, telling him what they did. What they did is made it safe. It is no longer toxic. It won't harm them. And if they have a problem with that, then they should know. They did this to protect their people. And right now, it was quite simple. It was them or us. Now, Black Bolt's, he does stare directly at Cyclops. Their people, the Inhumans, they were growing in number and growing in size. The Terrigen Clouds, they did not mean to disperse them. However, they were happy to find Inhumans around the globe. And right now, the man is going to voice his opinion, as he does whisper something to Cyclops. And Cyclops, he is immediately killed by Black Bolt's voice. Now, Cyclops just go flying backwards and smashing onto the ground, as he does lay there lifeless. And right now the Hulk, he does see that. Him rushing directly towards Black Bolt. And right now Hulk, he does go in. As Black Bolt, he does whisper, "Enough." Now, Hulk isn't flying backwards, smashing onto the ground. Him going to get back up and onto his feet. And he does look directly at Black Bolt, rushing forwards again. This time at a greater speed. And right now Black Bolt, he does watch the Hulk approach. Before shouting, well, a little bit louder, "Enough." Now, the Hulk isn't flying backwards onto the ground. And this time whenever he does get back up, he actually does have visible wounds. Him getting back onto his feet, as right now a few people they do watch him. Hulk struggled there for a second, but he's healing fast. And right now the Hulk he does get to stare at Black Bolt, screaming as loud as he can. And right now he does get to bring his hands upwards and smash them together, directly at Black Bolt. And the man he does just simply stand there, whispering once more, "Enough." Now, the shockwave does meet the voice, and right now both do clash, as Hulk is going to rush forwards once more. And this time Black Bolt, he does step forwards. Him going to directly match the Hulk as the two do meet. Him dodging before directly going to somewhat uppercut the Hulk as hard as he can. And Black Bolt sends the Hulk flying through the air. Now, the Hulk is knocked away, and right now he does a smash into the ocean somewhere. As there actually is where Black Bolt and the Inhumans do leave. Now, there actually is where Hulk, he does eventually come back to land. And right now, he is overflowing with anger. Everything that just happened, everything he just saw, everything he just witnessed. And right now, it pisses him off. As right now, he does look towards everybody and looking around. His vision feels like it's going to turn red. He's angry. He's angry. He's mad. He needs to smash. He needs to... This being where someone is going to lay their hand on Deku's shoulder. Or the Hulk's. And Hulk is going to turn his head. Before meeting eyes with Jean. And then looking up more. Rogue. Katsuki and... It's Laura over there. She's here. Hulk going to drop onto his knees. And right now, Hulk is going to shrink back down. Hulk was angry. Hulk was very angry. And right now, in Deku, he does sit there. He does try to think about what he just saw. Everything he just saw. Cyclops was about ready to attack. I mean, why would he do that? Facing Black Bolt alone. Approaching the men so close. That doesn't make sense. He just walked up to the men and tried to fight. Black Bolt was out of his league. That wasn't a fight. That was a suicide by Black Bolt. Now, Deku is going to bring his hands up. And right now, he's just crying. Many people, they're still alive today. They saved mutants here in Japan. But right now, they just lost one of their own. And the Inhumans, they just started a war. The Inhumans took Cyclops. And right now, the Inhumans, they want a war. If they are going to let these Terrigen Mist Clouds kill their own, kill the mutants, then the Inhumans, they're about to deal with their own repercussions. Especially because of this. Now, right now Deku, he does stand there. And he is standing with Jean on his left and Katsuki to his right. As he does listen. And he does attend the funeral of Cyclops. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and I do hope there are no audio problems here, because this turned out a little bit better, I believe, especially because it's one solid take. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed.